Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I am Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And this is Take Two.
Yep.
I'm not calling this one Take Two again. Although Take Two again might be a great idea.
So, first 30 minutes of the episode, gone forever.
I feel like it was less last time.
It was like 12 minutes before.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adrian's computer.
Uh-huh.
A sarcastic thumbs up.
Yeah. Thanks not saving
I desperately
automatically
need a new laptop.
So now we're the Gil Hova cut. We've got all of our banter and bullshit out of the way. And now
It
straight.
should be streamed down and
Yep.
tightened.
Yes.
So, but yeah, now that we're on Take Two here,
Take two again.
Take Two again. So, I have started working at Epic since our last.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say timely.
Zach's phone just froze. Everything is freezing over here.
Yep.
As it rains outside.
Including the moisture outside. The precipitation is freezing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I started working at Epic. Finally, Jeff is my boss now.
Supervisor.
Yeah, 2/3 of Mile High Game Guys now work at Mile High Game Guys, or now work at Epic. Are you signaling cut, Zach? That you're just gonna cut all this out?
No, he can just write a big old X on all that shit. All that old shit that he wrote.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a big. I have
show notes.
I have 30 minutes of show notes that
Gone forever.
Gone forever.
Right
Just
on.
like your job
Tears
soon.
in the Rain.
Is that Blade Runner?
Yes.
Okay.
Only like the most famous line from Blade Runner.
Yeah, I've
I thought
only
you liked Blade Runner.
I've only
Jeff.
seen it once.
What?
Yeah, when we
What?
saw it in theaters.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice now, so.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You guys are terrible human beings.
I never got around to seeing it because I was like, oh, there's 1,000 cuts and I don't know which cut to watch. And I know some of them are awful and some of them are great. And then I saw the best version. So
Yes.
I'm glad I saw that version.
And then we saw 2049. I was like,
And I was like, this movie's amazing.
and this movie's better.
Go to hell, Zach.
There's opinions.
Zach
on-
has terrible taste
on
in everything.
2049.
Board games, sci-fi movies.
I'm gonna
all
say
of
I'm
it.
not the only person who thinks that. So.
Correct. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am saying he's wrong. Just other people are wrong too.
No,
No,
Yes.
it's not. That's not how it works, Adrian.
that movie's great.
Yeah, 2049 is great.
It was.
Both Blade Runners, I think, are fantastic.
Indeed.
So.
Too bad it made like $7.
It made more than $7. But I mean, the first Blade Runner was a cult classic too. Like, it
Yeah.
didn't make a ton of money at the box office either.
True. Because it was a bad cut.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, the
Yes.
theatrical cut of Blade Runner is not the best.
Yeah.
This
How
one
how would you have liked in that movie, like right when you're like, oh man, look at all that, like, this atmosphere,
Mhm.
to have Harrison Ford go, now let me do a voiceover telling you what I feel.
that I really don't want to do.
Yes.
I read up on the differences and he was like, there should not be voiceovers
Yeah.
in this, and just gave no fucks about doing
Mhm.
the voiceovers.
Yeah. For as much as people like to complain that movies nowadays like over-explain things to the audience, holy shit. The original cut of Blade Runner way over-explained.
Well, it's like
things.
people who complain nowadays, like, oh man, the trailers give away. The trailers were the worst back in the day. Like, it was.
Well, they were just nonsensical.
Well, not even just that, like, they literally like, all right, let us tell you what the movie is about, and we'll explain everything so this way you know what you're getting into when you go see it. And my favorite
Sounds
example of this is Castaway, where it literally shows you the beginning of the movie, tells you the plot, and then shows you the end of the movie.
Jesus.
Like the first and last shot of each of the movie.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
I should watch that trailer again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Speaking of movies,
Mm-hmm.
someone had asked for Netflix recommendations, and I don't remember
in the
if
Slack channel.
Yeah, in our Slack channel. I don't remember if I ever mentioned this. I saw a Netflix movie that got bought up because it was in production forever and bought from somewhere.
Mhm.
It's called Spectre. And
You did talk about this.
did I talk about this?
Yeah.
on-
Yeah. You
on
talked
here?
about the James
Yeah.
Bond movie, yeah.
What?
Spectral.
Spectral. Yeah.
Spectral.
There you
But that
go.
was the one where you were like,
There you go.
because you said
I
it
don't
was
think
it was Ghostbusters and Black Hawk Down.
It was
and
yeah. I
I'm
don't
pretty
remember.
sure we talked about it on air.
I don't know.
You might have.
We may have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Well, yeah.
was good.
If we didn't, it's Black Hawk Down combined with Ghostbusters.
Yes.
The tone of Black Hawk Down combined with fighting ghosts from Ghostbusters.
Not from Ghostbusters, but
But no, like Ghostbusters they're fighting ghosts. Like this one, they're fighting ghosts.
They
Like
are-
that part of it, not like the goofy, wacky way they fight ghosts in
No.
Ghostbusters.
like Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, because
it was a fun little sci-fi movie that I was like, oh, this was pleasant.
yeah. 'Cause yeah, in the Slack channel, which if you're not a part of, you should join, so you can bullshit with all of us and a bunch of other listeners and some of our local friends. I was talking about how I'd been sick all weekend, and so I mostly stayed inside and just binge watched a bunch of Netflix. Which, since Andrew did ask for some Netflix recommendations for on the show, one of the things I binge watched was Wild Wild Country, which is a documentary. Wow.
Yeah.
Documentarians.
A documentary about a like sort of cult, sort of like weird spiritual group that got going in Oregon. They originally were from India, and then they moved their whole like organization to Oregon. And they were like the Rajneeshs, and this was in like the mid 80s, like 81 to like 86.
Gotcha.
And it was really interesting, like watching the documentary. It was like, on the one hand, like the small Oregon town who was like, oh, these like free love, weird, like hippie-esque people are awful and we hate them and we want to chase them off. And you were like, oh yeah, you guys suck. Why couldn't you just let them like have their own little community? And then like later on, it's like, oh yeah, and then the Rajneesh people like started poisoning people and like tried to assassinate somebody. And it's like, I suddenly don't feel so bad for you anymore.
Fair enough.
Definitely one of those situations where like neither side was in the right.
Yeah, I'd heard some really good things about that.
It was really well done. I really liked it. It caught me more than I was expecting it to. So,
and then I watched the rest of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's a good one.
That I had started watching like 4 years ago.
Jesus.
And then it's only like 58 episodes, 62 episodes.
Yeah.
It's anime, so it's really only 10 minutes of actual stuff, and then
hey, not all of them are like that.
And then 15 minutes of credits at either end.
Okay. I thought you were going to say the Dragon Ball Z thing where it's just like 10 minutes of
powering up.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Like this is definitely more of a
No, it is.
Yeah,
it 100% is.
But it's a lot of credits at the beginning and a lot of credits at the end.
That's all
anime.
Yeah, it's about an hour and not an hour.
Yeah,
I'm sure it feels like it. Yeah, 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side. So.
Yeah. The other thing I binge watched over the weekend, Santa Clarita Diet season 2. God, that show is fantastic.
No idea what that show is.
It's a zombie show with Timothy Olyphant and Drew Barrymore.
Which I fucking love Timothy Olyphant. Dude
he's great.
Fantastic.
You've seen Justified, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Justified, and then he's been in a bunch of movies that I really like. But it's just such a
Die
quirky...
Hard 4.
I forgot he was in Die Hard 4.
He was the main bad guy, right?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yippee-ki-yay,
bleep.
But
in a mother
movie.
trucker.
Yeah, God, I hate that movie.
It's just so for those of you who aren't familiar, like apparently Jeff with
I saw a
Santa
trailer.
Clarita Diet. Drew Barrymore's character gets infected with like a zombie virus, so she becomes a zombie, but she retains like all of her consciousness. She just has like a nearly uncontrollable urge to eat people, and
But
so
she
they're
doesn't
like,
look like a zombie.
no,
She looks like a normal person.
on the outside. Like, although, like, at some point, like, things, like, she starts rotting and falling off, and that's a plot point where they're trying to stop that.
Gotcha.
But it's quirky and weird. They're like, it's Timothy Olyphant's the husband, Drew Barrymore's the wife, and then they have a daughter, and, like, their neighbor's a cop, and they're murdering people so she can eat them, and it's great.
He's like super on board with it. He's like, I'll support you no matter what.
Yeah, I love you so much, darling. I'm here for you. But it's also funny because like he's like freaking out too, like because he's this like totally generic suburban dad who's now murdering people. It's like a more comedic Walter White.
Okay.
So
think of all the people that I haven't murdered.
Yes, that's
exactly
one of the clips from season 2.
That was
on
in
the
the trailer
that
I saw.
But whole lot of fun. I really like the show. It's real good. I'm curious where they go with season 3. They left season 2 on a massive cliffhanger, so season 3 is clearly coming, and we'll see where it goes.
Very exciting.
Did you ever see iZombie?
No, I haven't watched that one.
I read the comic.
I like that one a lot, but did you ever like Veronica Mars?
No.
Okay.
Well, I never really watched it.
Okay.
So I don't know.
It's by the same guy,
Yeah.
so
I've heard it's very similar, just with zombies.
Rob Thomas.
But anyway, enough of that.
The Coldplay Rob Thomas does make an appearance on the show, though.
Okay,
so.
I didn't know.
No,
I assumed
it's a different one. It's a different one. But I think sort of spoilers for one episode, but I think they like they make fun of his name, or like they go like Rob Thomas, what a stupid name, and then like eat him or something like that. I don't know. So
I hope Sinbad and Rob Thomas both make an appearance together. One of the greatest episodes of Always Sunny ever.
yeah.
He's trapped in a mental home and he wasn't
Yeah.
sure. And he thinks it's Sinbad and Rob Thomas.
Yeah.
It was super random but fantastic.
Oh God. Anyway, that's enough banter, which is amazingly all new banter from the 30 minutes of lost banter.
We can make up some bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're real good at that.
Yep.
Anyhow, so what
Someone
have you guys
say
been
the only
playing?
thing we're good at.
Yes, right. So Zach, what have you been playing?
So I played The Mind earlier.
The hottest of hot games.
Yes, the hottest of hot games, which you had originally played at LyriaCon, right?
Yep.
And
And then Paul got
Paul got, and then
internationally.
yes,
Yep.
yeah.
And
But
then it was
it's
just
language
announced that
independent, so you
Who's
know,
bringing it
Okay.
to the U.S.? Is it
Pandasaurus.
Pandasaurus? That's
Yes.
right. I knew it was somebody that we'd been talking about recently.
Yeah.
So it will be released here in the States fairly soon.
Yes.
Ish. Are they doing a Kickstarter for it?
They have not said. Paul just said, I hope that, or you said, I hope they don't do Kickstarter. And
That
they've
could be correct.
they had games that weren't Kickstarter. I can't remember which ones though, but
Anyway.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
the mind,
it like
really hard to explain.
Yes, it's basically reverse Hanabi. There's
So it's a big deck of cards.
1 to 100.
100 cards.
Yes.
Okay.
It's 1 to 100, but it's only 20 cards. No. I'm not sure how that works. No. Yeah. It's 100. It's 100 cards in there, and each round you're gonna get how so if it's round 1, everybody gets 1 card, and then out of all those cards, you just have to play them sequentially. So
Without communication.
yeah, that is the rub. Is that if I have a 4, Jeff has a 14, and Adrian has a 20, then we have to play those all correctly just by sort of looking at each other, like trying to play the card to see if anybody else is like sort of putting their card. It's a game about hesitation.
You learn to read so much into
Yes.
subtle cues.
Yeah, it's so the game says like don't do don't try and be like, all right, I'm gonna count 1 second, and then whenever your card comes up, whenever you count, which would suck because if you had 100 cards, that's like you'd count fucking a minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all like it's and don't be like, oh, 2 winks means that it's 20, and then whatever my right,
Yeah.
don't do like signals and stuff. It's just like trying to learn the people, because you each round you start, everybody puts their hand on the table, and I forget the melding or whatever it is. You're just trying to
You're syncing up your
syncing up your mind.
God.
And at any point you can be like stop, and everybody puts their hand back on the table to be like, all right, let's
Let's all get back in
let's
sync.
get back in sync.
Yeah, we're getting off. Things are getting out of
Yep.
control.
Let's get
Let's
our auras.
pause.
Yes. And I've tried to explain this game to other people, and it doesn't sound like a game at all until you play it or you watch somebody play it. So our friend David, he's been on the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Okay. But he we're trying to describe the game. He's like, this doesn't sound like anything. And then like after one or two rounds of playing, he's like, okay, I need to get this game.
Even like Ant, like explaining to him, and he read the rules or something. He's like, yeah, I know it sounds stupid. I'm not interested. And then like we got him to play around, and I think like by the time he finished playing a couple rounds of it, he was like, maybe he doesn't love it,
Yeah.
but warmed up to it a little
Mhm.
bit. Like,
And
especially if you're all
if you
sitting around
drink it,
drinking and like just carrying on. Because you're right, like the hesitations of like going to put a card in, and then like when you play something just right, like I play 61 and then Jeff plays 62 right on top of it, and it's like, oh, thank God we played that in the
And
right
then I
order.
play 63, and it was because we were all like, say the last card was 40. We're all like, we all waited a while, and it's like, all right, 23 points away from me. It's like I could play it, and then just Adrian is just like, fuck it, I'm gonna play it. And then both me and Jeff are like, oh, thank God. And like before I get a chance to play mine, Jeff plays his, and it's just like when it works well, it's amazing, and when it works bad, it's funny.
agonizing.
It's
yeah.
agonizing, but also funny still. So,
One of the first ones we had was like all 4 cards. It was round 1, so we were playing with 4 players. Everybody got their own card, and we all kind of like everybody just immediately like sat back in their chairs, like looked all relaxed, like I ain't doing shit for a little bit. And we're sitting there, and finally I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna play mine. I throw down 71.
yeah.
Like, and it was more spiteful than anything. I was like, there's definitely something lower than 71. And then it ended up being the lowest.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it just-
None of us reacted, and we're like, all right, it's your turn now. And Adrian was like, oh shit, wow.
So Yeah, it's great. It's a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
Definitely look to pick that one up when it gets into stock.
It'll probably
in the
be pretty
States.
cheap too. Right?
Should be.
It should be,
It's
yeah.
only 100 cards
Yeah.
plus some round cards or whatever.
Mhm.
Yep.
I could easily see it being as much as like Hanabi or
Yeah,
something
which
like
is
that,
like what,
so
12, 15
something
bucks?
like that, yeah.
Yeah, if that.
I also played Unfair. I tried out 2 of the other factions I hadn't played yet, the Ninja and the Gangster. Well, specifically the Gangster, because holy shit, did that get fuck you-y
Real quick.
real quick. One of them, which I'm pretty sure would have pissed you off to no end, Adrian, is there's a card that said it was an event, and it just says you take a card from somebody at random, and it could be a part card, it could be an event card, or a blueprint. And I had 2 blueprints. He took one from me, and it was an insane level difficulty that I was going to succeed at, and it was going to be 55 points. He just took it away, and then he looked at it, and then just discarded it.
It's like, bye.
Yeah. So we were talking afterwards, and I was like, man, this card feels like it should be if you take whatever, like you keep whatever it is. So it's like if you take a part card and you're like, oh, it's not worth anything, whatever. But if you take a blueprint, if you can't succeed at blueprints, you get minus 10 points. So I feel like he should be hurt in some way by taking that.
Yeah, that seems. Because a 55-point loss like that, like I'm guessing you didn't win.
No, I got third. I had like 105 or something like that, and then the first place winner had like 149. I would have won had that not been taken from me. So
Yeah,
it was a little
that
salty.
sucks. Oh, yeah, that would have pissed me off. You're right.
Yeah.
I would not have liked that at
Yeah.
all. I'd have bitched about that for a hot minute.
At the very least, it happened near the end of the game, so it's not like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
True.
In that same round, I also played a card on Paul, though, that was close all ride attractions, and all he had was ride attractions. And he was making like 30 a turn because he kept playing all these cards that helped him. And then I was like, you know what? Well, I'm gonna shut all these down so you don't get any money. And he was pissed off on that. And then he ended up playing a bunch of staff members because he couldn't do anything else. And then the next card that came up was it was the last round. The last unfair card that came up was any staff members you have, put them back in your hand. And he was like,
Oh, god damn.
are you fucking kidding me? And he's like, well, yeah, that's the final nail in the coffin. So it was, feel like some of them are like a little too much. It was just a little too fuck you-y.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I still love playing the game. I like the gangster theme that they did because one of their showcase cards was, basically, you hustle people for money each round, and if they don't give you money, you shut down one of their attractions. So,
But it's not like a lot.
it wasn't a lot, but it was based on each gangster theme that you had, and so it started out just 2 coins, and then it, like near the end, it was like 6 coins a turn,
Okay.
and that starts to add up near the end.
Yeah, because money's pretty tight and
Mhm.
unfair.
There was one of the cards where it was you basically pay an event, and it's people can build whatever thing they want to build at half price. But it's you give that money to that person. Instead of just spending 20, I would give 10 to Paul to do it. Does that make sense?
Wait, so you give him 10 to build something at half price?
Yes. On that round, when they build something, they could build it for half price, but they just give him the money.
Oh, I see. I see.
And so I had my super attraction, which cost 20, and I had a hotel that I had to build for that fucking blueprint that cost 20. And I was like, thank God I can get both of these out in any turn. I don't give a shit if I'm giving Paul $20 here, 20 money. Here you go. I was super happy about that. But
I know.
yeah. It was still, like I said, it was fun. I don't know if I'd play with the gangster theme again. Well, really what it was is we got rid of the two least unfair decks, the jungle and the robots. And we instead subbed in the 2 biggest ones. And it was like, maybe that was too much of a swing.
Yeah, that seems a bit steep.
Yeah. Maybe it's like, we're playing with 4 players, don't have unfair go more than 10 or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
right. Yeah, I want to play that some more.
Yeah. I especially want them to come out with new
Right. I'm really surprised they haven't.
yeah.
So it was supposed to be like sci-fi and zombie and
Yeah, zombie and dinosaur world and stuff like that.
yeah,
And it's
alien, I think.
yeah,
was-
I mean we got our dinosaur park now. We got our
Yeah.
dinosaur park games
Right,
now, so I
right.
don't even need this anymore.
no.
Right on. Jeff, what about you? What did you play this week?
Besides snowboard, which
Fun little dexterity balancing game there.
yes, on my minor powder kind of experience, Before snowboarding, I played more Star Wars Imperial Assault, continuing the campaign. We only got one round in, but we encountered something new, which was an ally encounter, which lets you go through. There's no dungeon in it. It's just you go through like a story scenario with text and skill checks and stuff like that. And we ended up on the Millennium Falcon with Chewie while Han went off and did something, and we got attacked by drones. And it was just sort of do a bunch of shit, and then I don't think there was a fail state unless you were real bad at it. But we basically ended up being able to use Chewie for our next mission, which was very nice because we had to fight an ATST at the end of it, which wounded 3 of the 4 of us, and that would have been real bad. But fighting a big monster creature thing in that campaign is super fun.
Yeah.
It has lots of crazy abilities, but once again, the app's AI is kind of, I don't know, a struggle sometimes because you don't know, like, a stormtrooper will have to move 3 to attack so-and-so. And is it going to move 3 into, like, base-to-base contact? Is it going to move, like, kind of far enough and try and use its range? But it always seems like it wants to move, like, right next to you all the time and just fucking point-blank shoot you, but then you have like melee specific characters that it might be going up against, and it's just like, oh, thank you for coming to me, and just slaughter everyone.
Yeah, like thanks for running up to this Wookiee who's gonna now rip your arms off.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, the AI, I want to just look up some more detail on exactly how movement and stuff works, and some things aren't so clear, like because it still uses a lot of the old like Overlord cards for the creatures, and they'll have like texts on them like mobile, but we couldn't find what the definition of mobile was anywhere easily available.
Okay.
And then we were like, oh, it ignores difficult terrain. And it was a big like Nexu, which is that weird creature from the Clone Wars gladiator pit that kind of looks like a cat with a giant mouth.
Yeah.
It would do a big pounce, but we were like, oh, we're next to difficult terrain. It can't get there. But then we had to be like, oh, it's mobile. That means it can go on difficult terrain and be able to pounce in that spot.
Okay.
Yeah. Imperials in Imperial Assault have a fuckload of these crazy giant cat things. It's just always stormtroopers and Nexu monsters.
Weird. I always thought the Imperial Army had a really low budget for stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, just a bunch of trained cat monsters and some stormtroopers and probe droids everywhere.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Just like,
Maybe a couple E-webs.
oh yeah. We've definitely fucked those up as fast as possible because they will ruin you.
Yep. They're the big turret guys, for those not aware.
Yeah, it's a machine gun. It's a big machine gun. But most recently, I played Kingdom Death Monster.
Yes, we did.
So I was off at Epic having beers with a friend that's moving to Dallas, and left you guys to finish up our first campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Where
you didn't believe that we'd take down the Phoenix with our B team,
C team.
You're right. C team, yeah.
Our A team ate the A team, basically, and then the town killed the rest of the A team.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you wandered off into the woods after you're writing your name in a book, which was the last of the A team.
Mm-hmm. I really should have named my character Zach, and then my character writes Zach, but accidentally does a K. And it's just like, oh God, no!
I can't live with myself.
I can't live with myself.
I'm taking all the gear though.
That was the thing that really hurt.
Yeah.
And so we came across the Phoenix, which the lead up to the Phoenix, we ended up losing a lot of survival, which was not great, and we didn't have dash. So basically, what happened is the Phoenix he does a lot of it. Like his attacks hurt. His attacks after every AI card that he draws, he does a basic attack, which is he flies up to somebody, hits the shit out of them,
teleports to someone.
Only certain times does he materialize.
All right,
but he'll just hit the shit out of someone, and then he will blow them away, knock back 7.
Holy shit!
Yeah, our movement's 5.
Yeah,
so not good. And then bleed and all that stuff. So what ended up happening is one of our characters because he also messes with your age. Because he gives you age tokens that if he ever basically activates them, you gain 4 Hun XP. And then if you ever run out of spaces to put those XP marks, your character ceases to exist.
Great.
Yep.
But you get hunt experience.
Yeah. No.
Which means if you have marrow hunger, you have more options to murder, which is nice.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But one of our characters ceases to exist.
Of course.
Another one of our characters, Dan's character, basically stood up at the beginning of the match and then just died instantly. So he was like out.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was pretty messed up. The Phoenix also looked into somebody's eyes and then killed all that person's children.
all possible futures.
All possible futures for its genitals destroyed.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
That I happened to be like coming by like right as that happened, and it was like, wait, what?
Yeah. And one of the AI cards that I was able to get rid of by wounding it, because I was like the only person that could actually wound him for whatever reason.
Good.
Was a card that was like, if you had 25 of those age tokens between everybody, it basically would just restart the entire campaign, but with your current characters.
You'd go from like year 7 all the way back to year 1.
Yep.
But you'd have your current characters.
Yeah. And so
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That would have been interesting, but basically we just all died except my character. And we were just like, you want to just call it? Because I mean, we can have Zach just fuck around for 10 minutes, but I wasn't gonna kill that fucker.
You're not gonna win.
No, everybody got wounded super heavy. So we were like, fuck it, we'll just, because we were pretty sure that was gonna be when our campaign ended. The only person left, good old
Jorfles. Yep.
Our dickless hoarder.
Dickless, armless hoarder.
Yep, who's just hanging by the lanterns, but like, everything's mine now.
Yep.
As it slowly fades to black.
Yep. Yeah.
So that rounded out season 1, or you're not
campaign
season,
1.
Campaign 1, and now you're starting campaign 2.
Yes.
Okay, so when you start a new campaign, just for my clarification here, does anything from the first campaign affect anything at all in this?
Yes, in the sense that you mark off a box that says you've already done a campaign, and then after a certain amount of finished campaigns, you get certain things already. Like you won't have to go through the pains of some stuff.
Okay.
So,
but otherwise, like at this point, starting campaign 2 is basically going back to the beginning.
more or less, yeah.
And simulating the tutorial battle.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
And so we were like, okay, we faced a butcher, we faced a level 2 lion. Let's just do,
Level 1 line.
level 1 lion. That's the only thing we could fight. But 2, we're
Now,
like, oh,
to be fair, there is an expansion that adds another
yes.
base creature that you can fight, that instead of just lions all the time, there's also this weird blob creature thing that you can fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't have that yet, though.
No.
Okay.
I think that was off the new Kickstarter.
Yeah. So we're like, this is gonna be easy enough. It's just a level 1 lion. It wasn't.
Not easy.
Not
It
easy
was
at
a
all.
level 1 lion.
It was a level 1 lion that almost wiped our starting party.
Oh God.
He ended up. We had 2 characters that got severely wounded, hobbled, broken backs, gaping chest wounds and stuff. We're like, all right, well, we can just have them be concubines. But he ended up killing both of them. And then so the 2 people left got super injured as well. Nobody could walk the full movement that they had when they started,
which is brutal.
Yeah. But we were finally able to kill him. Came back. And then so we had people. So instead of eating each other now, we were like, let's do graves this time. We're gonna be the Care Bear strategy this time.
Which is probably a better strategy.
Maybe.
We went super brutal last time. We got a lot of insanity, which we aren't really getting this time.
Yeah,
which is useful.
I'm feeling that a lot more.
Yeah, you're getting more like actual brain damage because you're not going nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because insanity's like brain armor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
so when you see crazy shit, your insanity actually goes down.
Yeah.
Because you're so crazy that you can like understand.
You're like, oh, I get it. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had some kids, and we treat them good instead of just be like
Spartan.
Yeah, instead of the Spartan lifestyle. That one they would get, but this one at the very least we get to roll 2 dice and then
choose the better
one. So the last one was you rolled 2 dice and you choose the worst one. So it was a lot harder to get a Jesus kid.
Yes,
but
a savior.
But yeah. So we fought the lion a couple times, and now we're gonna have to fight the butcher.
We're slightly worse off than we were before. We had like some good hunt events that we got the crazy God Hammer on.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't gotten that yet.
No.
I think we had the like Katars and stuff already by this time. which we don't have.
No, but we do have stuff, at least enough stuff, so people don't have broken weapons. So
Yeah, fragile weapons.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Because the butcher's going to come by and cut people's faces
Yep.
off.
I think I'm going to be content to just hearing about some of the ridiculous things that happen and being like, ha ha ha, that's ridiculous. Sure glad I didn't have to experience that.
Yeah,
'cause it
no.
sounds kind of bullshit.
I mean, this is not the game for you.
No.
It's very random. A lot of dice.
And then
Not
like,
much mitigation.
if each campaign seems like you're more or less just starting back over and fighting the same people over and over. Like, things will be different because you'll get different cards, I assume. So, like, how...
And all the hunt
beasts-
events are super different.
And even like fighting one line to the other, because there's a lot more AI cards
Yeah.
than there are ones that you use. You can fight them
Yeah.
differently, but still, it's.
'Cause-
I mean, it's.
The AI deck is just a chunk of the actual AI deck you could possibly have.
Mhm.
Okay, right on. For myself, I played my first play of Rising Sun. I'm not going to talk about that very much because we have a review for that coming up next week, and so we'll be playing that some more as my first play. This might be a good review for us coming up because we've been agreeing far too much lately.
Yep.
And I don't think there's going to be much agreement on our Rising Sun review. It's going to be contentious.
Yes,
It's going to be a spicy review.
it will. I will say that I played the Kickstarter specific clan in this one, and they work well for my favorite strategy of failing upwards.
Yes.
They basically pop up everywhere and get like, "Hi guys," kill themselves, and then get victory points for it.
Yep. But yeah, so
Good.
Yeah.
So
Good.
the other thing that I've been playing a whole lot recently is I've just been playing a crap ton of Terraforming Mars recently. My girlfriend Megan got me the insert for my birthday, the broken token one. And ever since I got that, it's like, all right, well, now it's super easy to set up and tear down, and I've got all these nice components. I should play the shit out of it. So I have been. We played a 3-player game during the week, Zach, Paul, and I. It was one of the weirdest games of Terraforming Mars I've ever had,
Very true.
in that it took forever. It was like over almost a 3-hour game, over a 3-hour
It
game.
was 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it took a really long time
For 3 players?
with 3 players and like doing the variant where you boost a stat after every round.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to speed the game up, and it still took 3 hours and 15 minutes. And at the end of the game, there are only 9 available tiles left on Mars. Like, we put out all of the water, a bunch of cities. Zach had just a shit ton of greenery.
I had 17 forests out there.
Yeah.
I was the I was Ecoline, so
Mm-hmm.
you would expect that coming from them. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And, well, shockingly, we were very hard pressed, Paul and I, to hate draft Zach, because almost every time it was like, I was sitting to Zach's right, so he was to my left, and he was to Paul's right. So, like, on turns where it was past to the left, I'd draw and it'd be like, oh, here's 3 great plant cards. So I get a hate draft 1 and then hand him 2.
mhm.
And same thing when it was Paul's turn and we were passing to the right. Paul would be like, well, great. Here you go, Zach. You still get to have a card no matter what I do. And
Mhm.
so Zach had a pretty powerful engine. He ended up winning like 1-0.
I had 109 to your
109.
95 and 94.
Yeah.
That's
So
close.
still a pretty close game
Mhm.
overall.
It was funny. Basically, Adrian and Paul were focused super heavy on cards,
Yep.
like card points, and then I think you had board presence.
I had a decent
You had
amount
a decent
of
board
board
presence.
presence.
Paul focused on those cards and then having tokens on cards.
Okay.
I focused heavy on tokens on cards and board presence.
Yeah. So we all 3 kind of like
Focused on 2 things, and there was a heavy one and it, so it was pretty interesting.
a little bit of overlap and stuff. It was Paul had some of the most tokens I've ever seen on cards.
Yeah, and I got 10 points just from ants.
Yeah.
It was great.
yeah. It
and
was,
and I had protected habitats, so nobody could touch my
That's
plants,
Probably why
my
you did so
animals,
well.
and my things. Yeah,
he got it fairly late in the
Yes.
game though.
Oh.
So he made it a long
So you
time into
weren't-
the game without getting super messed with.
So you weren't dropping enough asteroids on him, is what
Yes,
you're saying.
We
because
weren't getting any.
we yeah, it was the weirdest fucking thing. Like they only showed up near the end, and when I was already protected.
Which
Okay.
again, asteroids like are typically a thing that slows the game down. There weren't hardly any of
Yeah.
those, so like I don't get why the game
Mhm.
went so slow. The only thing I can really think of that particularly contributed to it was I had a card early where I was the Energy Corp, so I got discounts on building energy cards. And so I maxed my energy, like I had my energy way the hell up there. But then I had a card for an action. I could convert any amount of energy into money. And so I was turning most of my energy into money each turn instead of letting it go to heat.
Well, in heat, heat was the last thing to max out.
Yeah, oceans went first, then oxygen, then heat, which is not usually the order it goes in. So it was still a fun game. It did
I think
start
we're all
to drag on a
exhausted,
little bit, yeah. And then I've played a couple 2-player games with Megan. She's won one, I've won one. And then Megan and I both started playing solo games. So I played 2 solo games last night, and then she played 3 solo games today. And so
a lot of solo games.
We've been really enjoying Terraforming Mars solo. Like we basically just been leaving it set up on the kitchen table, and just whoever's home. Like our schedules are flip flopped right now. She's working nights, and I'm working during the day. So whoever's here by themselves is like, well, I guess I'll play some solo Terraforming Mars. But yeah, it's been getting more and more plays, which is finally making it worth its purchase. Like I bought it last January, and I played it for the first time this March. My personal copy.
Yes.
So finally starting to earn its keep on my shelf, but still love Terraforming Mars. Megan and I both have it now very firmly in our top 5 games. Love Terraforming Mars.
Indeed.
Yes.
So, right on. Well, that covers what we've all been playing and kind of starts to wrap up banter. Before we completely wrap it up, Jeff, is there a bloody minute?
There sure is. The opening day, I don't know, whatever you want to call it in sports. I don't know sports. The first game of the season has happened. This was a rematch from the semifinal game of the championship tournament last year. It was the DeWar Bosses, my orcs, versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Slan, which is Matt's team. He was going to get a crap load of inducements against me since Ant during the preseason roughed him up real good, giving him 2 miss next game players, so he was down 120k in players alone. So he ended up getting the Star Saurus player, kind of like a big guy for him. His Slan can get like a Croxagore big guy, but the Lizardmen team have the Saurus, which the Slan do not have available to their team, which is a kind of like high movement, high strength, low agility, high armor. And game started off pretty good. I'm playing orcs, so he needed to kind of keep his distance from me. I ended up receiving the kick, and then kind of held onto the ball, kind of smashed around a little bit, not really seeing much play in there. He lined up his star player, Slibbly, against my troll, which my troll, Thog the Unnatural, had decided to just smash him into the ground over and over and over again until finally casualtied him out about 6 turns later. Unfortunately, he could not get away from me because he was on the ground every time, and every time he stood back up, Throg was just like, smash! Nice. Yeah. And finally got him knocked out. But Matt's team's super dangerous because he's got really high speed, which my orcs don't have. He's got really high agility, which my orcs don't have. And if the ball gets in the wrong spot, his catchers can just be like leap, which is just a straight 2+ edge. They go 2 spaces away and they are gone down the field. One of my blitzers was trying to go up the sideline, tripped and fell. Ball went into the crowd. Crowd threw it towards my goal line, which there was no one around except a Slan catcher who went to go picked up the ball, got far enough away to where I could literally not touch him, no matter how many go for it's moves or whatever I had. I just sort of moved at him, smashed another of its catchers to try and keep him out of the game. And then I had a come to Jesus moment of like, please God, don't let him get his 2+, which he did not get his 2+,
nice.
And fell on the goal line. which was in the very last buzzer of the first half, ending the first half 0-0. I start off the second half with a kick. During the first half, I had ended up getting a lot of KOs. He had 4 KOs off the field, so I think he only had like 7 players on the pitch, maybe 9, not many. He set up all of his guys, set up the kick. The kick came 4 towards the line of scrimmage, and then I rolled I can't remember the exact roll. I rolled a blitz, which means I get to do a turn before the ball lands. As well as one, I can't do regular blocks, and then I can only move characters that aren't already in tackle zones. But my blitz allowed me to knock one of his blitzers out of the way, which let one of my blitzers get behind his line of scrimmage to where the ball was landing and catch my own kick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I started the second half that I kicked to him with the ball in my possession, which was super nice. There wasn't much he could do with how few people he had on the field. But the nice thing about his team is they have leap. It's just a straight edge roll. They can jump into the middle of 8 guys, and it's still just a 3+. And even if I caged up my ball carrier, him with having his guys with leap and guard could still leap them in, and then blitz leap and get the ball out of my hands. And with how high his agility is, he could throw it all the way back down the other side of the field, and there's not much I can do about it. So I went for an early. I didn't want to delay the half at all, so I went for an early touchdown, which gave him a chance to get all of his knockouts back in, which he got 3 of the 4 of. So the second half of the second half was a little more stressful. Things were looking up for him, but thankfully I was able to bash 2 more linemen into Miss Next games. Unfortunately for him, I gave his star lineman a move break, and another one that's just got a serious injury, and ended up winning 1-0 by the end of the game. But he still got all of his blitzers and catchers intact, and then I move on to game number 2, which is against David and his Rod-em-all Nurgle team, which is going to be a rough game.
Right on. Best of luck
Yeah.
facing the 3rd season Nurgle that's finally getting tough.
They've got a lot of claw, which is really good against high armor. And I've got a lot of high armor. We'll see.
Right on.
It's going to be a rough game.
Good luck. Again.
Yes.
Second time.
Right on.
Oh. And Matt totally missed next game my thrower, so I won't have my
ouch.
thrower. Well, it's not so bad. The Nurgle teams have something called Disturbing Presence. It's like a 6 square grid around their characters that give you -1 to passing because they look so fucked up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to be throwing much in that game anyways, so basically what I'm doing is just giving him less inducements because I have a miss next game. I have a lower team value.
There you go.
Still giving 460k in inducements.
Ouch.
Yeah. He had some problems redrafting this last season. He ended up losing some dudes.
Oh, that
And
sucks.
he actually called a reroll from his team to carry over his Chaos Warriors. He has 1 reroll. He had 2 rerolls. He cut the reroll to have enough money to redraft all of his players.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Right on. Well,
Right on.
Look forward to hearing about the outcome of that match.
And you'll see it Wednesday.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Right on. Well, let's move right into news and Kickstarter then, shall we?
Indeed. First up on news, even though that next Mystic Vale expansion isn't out yet, there's still another new Mystic Vale expansion getting announced. This one is called Twilight Garden, which it looks like it's more of a more stuff, more leaders, more cards, more Vale cards, and then it's going to add the new mechanic, which is going to be curses. With the last expansion, they added in a lot of negative victory points on the cards. Whereas this one, it sounds like you're going to get a decent boost for what the card does, but at the end of the game, you pay the price, which I assume is some sort of negative victory point
Yeah, it makes
penalty
sense.
on them, which they've been doing more and more.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Of course, Broken Token just released a new Mystic Veil organizer for the like base box, but the next expansion is supposed to be a big box to hold all of the expansion boxes. I don't know why you would buy a Broken Token now.
Yeah, especially with Conclave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this will be in July at some point, so yeah.
Yeah. I think there's pre-orders for that Conclave, which I need to do because I really want Conclave.
Right on. More Mystic Veil for those of us who like Mystic Veil.
Which should be everyone.
Yep.
It is a solidly good game.
At the very least, they've continued their trend of not having bullshit names for it.
Yes, their names have much improved.
Mana Storm. Next up in news, a long delayed / in design expansion.
Yeah, I would say long design. Yeah.
For Seven Wonders expansion. Seven Wonders Armada is finally going to be coming out at Spiel this October after being revealed in demoed back in 2012.
Although apparently this one has like almost nothing in common besides the name.
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense. So this one looks like it's going to add more ways for you to interact with everyone at the table instead of players just to your left and to your right.
That makes sense.
Basically, it adds a sideboard that you have that's your fleets. And every time you play a card, be it red, yellow, blue, green, whatever, you have the option of paying an additional cost to advance that color's track on the board. So like the red track on your naval board is still military points, but instead of fighting just your neighbors to your left and to your right, you fight everyone at the table. And so whoever has the most gets the highest victory points each round, and then it scales like the victory points do in that game for combat. And then it talks about like yellow and blue track give you extra coins and victory points. Advancing on the green track lets you discover islands, and to do that, there's now island decks where you'll just draw the island deck and put it into play, and it will do a variety of things depending on what island it is.
Yeah. But now you actually care about people besides your neighbors in this game.
Yes, which I could see working in like maybe like a 4 to 5 player game. I feel like Seven Wonders plays up to like 7 players, right? That gets to be a lot to keep track of.
Well, I mean, yeah.
So I could see that bogging the game down if everybody's really tried to. But really, I feel like only the military naval track is the one that would matter for that.
As much, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't super love Seven Wonders, so I probably won't ever get to play this. But if the opportunity presents itself, I would. I don't know. Sounds kind of interesting. I'm sure we'll have more information about it come Spiel or closer to Spiel.
Yeah,
Spiel at the latest.
Yes.
Next up on news, a crazy person decided to make a better version of Arkham Horror and posted a well-crafted post on how they did it.
Yeah. This is a basically a homemade version that because Jeff, I'm sure you know, at the end of Arkham Horror, there was a lot of shit in that many boxes that you had.
My God. Is there.
And so he really liked the game, but there's a lot of like extra variables and things that he felt just bogged it down. And so he just basically goes through this entire post talking about how he cut a lot of things down. He made a lot of things less vague. So apparently, like a quick example of this is like on the regular card would say movement phase, exhaust to get 1 extra movement point. And now he just changed it to gain +1 movement.
And it's now a little like shoe symbol to symbolize movement.
Yeah. The board is a lot smaller and less early late 2000s looking.
Yeah, it looks much cleaner.
Yeah.
I really like the look of the new board.
Yeah. He apparently every monster had it, or every great old one had its Doom track on there. Now it's just on the board. It looks like it took some things from like Eldritch Horror.
I think all the art is all the art that he shows here using looks to be Eldritch Horror or other
newer art, basically.
Yeah, the newer art stuff for it.
It looks real good.
Yeah,
his redesign of the
his
card
redesign looks
great.
really good, but he basically the things he called floating variables and things, he got rid of those and just added like basically making it more concise and easier for newer people to play and stuff like that. And like you said, the art looks really good. The characters used to have adjustable skills. He just got rid of that.
He did post a revised rulebook,
Yeah.
so you can go through and just be like, I want to play my copy with all of these fancy
Mhm.
rules. Downside is you won't have all of the card revisions and stuff that he's
Yeah.
done. Downside is this is all sort of, it looks all kind of fake because it doesn't have any real physical pictures on here. They
Yeah.
look all generated.
Yeah, it's like the digital version,
Yeah,
digital files.
I would have liked to see like this, what he's done on the table, and not just this hypothetical, like, yeah, I did this revision and it's on a box, and I'd like to see actual pictures of the game.
Yep. And it looked like some people were like, how did you, can you post all the things to how you did it and stuff? But he doesn't own any of the licenses for this. So basically he was just saying, look at this thing that I did for one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, but then a lot of people are like, oh, but I want it now. I want this better version.
Yeah.
I'd at least like to
Well,
see this
although,
on the
like,
table.
There's lots of other games on BGG that like you can go in the files and they have fan made versions or variants or like upgraded
Mhm.
components.
And I mean, the rule book is as close to that as I think he's probably comfortable releasing.
Yeah, it might just be that. Yeah.
I don't know. As long as he doesn't sell it. Like that's the big thing. Like you can't sell
Yeah.
any of it
Yeah.
because you don't own the rights, but I don't know.
Yeah, downside
Maybe-
is like he did all this work on all these card revisions and stuff. He basically changed the whole game, but all you see is an example of like 3 cards.
Right.
Yeah.
So looks real cool though. I like his
The rule book is the work he did on the rule book alone it looks pretty
Yeah.
great.
Fantasy Flight, go hire him to do a second edition or
Or
third edition or whatever edition Arkham Horror would be on at this
it's
point.
called Eldritch Horror.
Eldritch.
But
Same
I mean, I
difference.
swear that thing better be done because I don't want any more expansions for it. I have too much
Oh,
stuff.
it's super
yeah.
super done
It better be.
because Eldritch Horror is now the expansion monster.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on. Next up in news.
Next up in news, remember how Geek Chic totally screwed a ton of people over and auctioned off stuff that people had paid for? And you know what? They're just going to start a new company and hopefully it works better this time.
Well, at least some of the employees.
Yeah, the people who are making
The
Yes.
tables.
not necessarily the
owners.
the leaders of it.
Yeah.
But yes, so they've started Bandpass Designs, which currently only have one table available, the Dresden. It's roughly $3,200, so
God.
not particularly cheap.
They're keeping the Geek Chic prices.
Yes. But I mean, it's like mostly walnut and bamboo, neither of which are super cheap woods. One of the things I really like about this is they talk early on, right at the start of this, is one of the things they asked themselves when designing this particular table is why can't we make a gaming table that's truly a great dining table first? And they go on a little bit to talk about how like a lot of game tables work great as a board game table, but kind of suck as a dining room table. They either look bulky and out of place, or they just don't work as well as a dining room table, basically. And this table, like, if you didn't know it was a gaming table, when it's laid out as a dining room table, it just looks like a really nice walnut dining room table.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
It does.
I
Yeah.
really like the design on this one. And then once you open it all up and all the stuff they have on the inside is even better. Like, I really like, they've got like card holders and 2 different divots in each seating position for like bits and pieces, cup holders, these big troughs that I can't quite tell what they are. I was looking through, I didn't see any description of what they are. It looks to me like it could be like a dice tray or something, or like, I don't know, big old hole to put stuff in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, if you've got several $1,000s to throw at a board game table, go check out Bandpass and see their new stuff. Like I said, all the workers and people from Geek Chic.
Fingers crossed they don't make the same mistakes that ran them in before.
Yes.
Well, they do talk about like the reason they only have the one table is because they're focusing on being able to actually not build up a huge backlog
Right.
of like crazy different and unique tables, and instead have one that they do really well and relatively quick turnaround. So plus that way, if they do got a business, they don't have this huge backlog of people who are like, hey, you don't get a table now. Sorry.
There you
They
go.
have to
You've been
auction.
waiting for a year. Fuck off.
Yeah. Next up on news, do you remember that 1976 Parker Brothers classic Who's It? I don't. But apparently the people at Restoration Games do.
Yes, I do.
And they have decided to retheme it in the most fantastic way.
I hope it's really apt for this social. Is it like what kind of game is it? It's basically like gamified Guess Who, right?
Uh-huh.
So, Jeff, what's the perfect theme for that?
I'm thinking dinosaurs.
But like
Fancy British dinosaurs?
Yeah. And
Oh.
I think that they would like to drink tea. So
Okay.
I think it should be at a tea party.
Fancy tea-drinking dinosaurs.
Did we get it right?
Yes.
Yes.
Dinosaur Tea Party.
Dinosaur
From
tea
Restoration
party.
Games.
Yeah.
Which, after looking through some of the cards in that old Who's It?
Glad they rethemed it to literally anything else.
Yeah. Definitely a product of the times.
Yes, the 70s were super racist time, and a lot of the things reflect that.
To be fair, other times were also more racist than the 70s.
True.
Like before.
all time.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, dinosaur tea party, a proper English tea party attended by Jurassic beasts, which I immediately see a Stegosaurus, and I feel like the Stegosauruses were not Jurassic.
Well, I mean, the name is Dinosaur Tea Party.
Yeah, but there's 3 different eras.
I know.
Jurassic, and
Cretaceous?
Cretaceous, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that one was in the Triassic.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's
so bullshit. That's what we're gonna.
It's a bullshit game.
Yeah, get it right.
Going to be astoundingly affordable, only $19.95 for an MSRP, and scheduled to release in August.
You're losing money if you don't buy it. That's how affordable it is.
Yes. So if you want a slightly gamier version of Guess Who, Dinosaur Tea Party might be right up your alley.
Yep. And they're soon going to be getting a shitload of money because the Fireball Islands Kickstarter will be starting next week.
Oh, yeah. And people are just going to throw all the money at that.
Yes.
So, right on. Next up in news.
Next up in news, Asmoday already is ruling the board game world, but they also want to rule pretty much every other portion of entertainment ever by launching their entertainment division.
Because earlier at some point we were talking about like a Catan movie and something like that. As the first of many type of things it's looking into.
So this is going to be an entertainment company. They want to do films, TV, comic books, and
graphic novels.
Yeah. It's headed up by Andy Jones, who previously did licensing, legal, and business development at Games Workshop, as well as Darren Kyman, who was Senior VP of Business Development, or who is the Senior VP of Business Development. He previously worked for ThinkGeek. He was the head of consumer products at Rovio, who did Angry Birds.
Yeah.
And he worked at MGM, Paramount, and Sony. So like they're not just like going willy-nilly into this. Like they went and got somebody with some legit experience in those industries.
And can I just say I feel like that the title of Senior Vice President of Business Development just sounds like one of those fake titles that somebody comes up with. We develop business here.
So I do have to say Andy Jones made some fantastic old Games Workshop stuff.
Okay.
Like Space Hulk, Man of War, which was like the
about jellyfish
fantasy naval,
Warhammer
Fantasy naval combat, Warhammer Quest, a ton of Warhammer Quest, and then a bunch of like Crunch, which was kind of like a real prototype weird Blood Bowl. But he was kind of like old school Games Workshop designer too.
Right on.
Yeah.
So yeah, Asmoday, it's taken over the board gaming world. Now it's trying to take over everything else.
We'll see if any of this stuff translates well. I feel like it wouldn't, but depends on what properties they go towards. Like Catan movie, I don't think is a good idea.
That's a terrible idea. But like I could see like a Descent, movie or video game. People love high fantasy dungeon crawls.
Yeah.
I could see.
I don't want to see a Carcassonne graphic novel.
No. They don't own any of the film rights to Star Wars, so that IP is completely off. Not available.
They make
for them.
a Star Wars movie just with their miniatures.
They have the miniature movie rights.
Yeah.
It's like Lego Batman,
yeah,
but Star Wars.
Yes.
There you go.
Except no CG in this one. It's
No,
just
it's
you see
well-
people's hands moving.
It's like South Park.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
see strings
Mhm.
like little
Yep.
marionettes. Right on. That wraps up news. And we
Indeed.
can move on to some Kickstarters.
First up in the wide world of Kickstarters is Architects of the West Kingdom. Well-funded, $235,000 of its $25,000 goal, over 3,500 backers, but only about a week left to back this one, which you can for $57 or $70 with the fancy metal coins.
I remember talking about this.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, because
Indeed.
we talked about it, and then literally the next day is when they
Announced the Kickstarter announcement.
Yeah.
or they launched the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because we're like, we know it's coming to Kickstarter. We just didn't realize it was going to be the next day. So we're like,
Indeed.
let's wait a week before talking about it again.
Uh-huh.
Those of you who are familiar with other Garfield games like Raiders of the North Sea that we just reviewed, or like Shipwrights and some of their other ones, they typically do unique takes on worker placement. And this one is no different.
But it is different than Raiders. That's not
Yes.
the same type.
Yes. In this one, you're competing to be the player with the most victory points. Shocker.
What?
You're going to be constructing buildings and advancing work on the cathedral. And throughout the game, you're going to like be investing workers in spots to get more and more rewards. But then there's also a mechanic that like it sounds like you can capture somebody's workers if they leave them unattended for too long,
Or they can go to jail or something like that. So.
Yeah.
And then you have to
Um,
pay money to get them out.
Yeah. So, I think it's really interesting. Like, I'm curious to see how the building the cathedral, kind of together, but
Mhm.
competitively works out. Like, I like games that have a vague veneer of cooperation,
Well, I mean,
with
it's
solid competition underneath.
It's for this one. It's just more of a like there's a race because after a certain level, only 2 people can be in there, or then 1 person and stuff like that. So you're all building it, but then whoever gets to it first, like nobody else can go there until that person moves up.
Yeah.
So I like that. That does seem pretty cool. I like that each of the player boards are double sided. So you have a standard version where everybody's the same, and then you have unique player boards basically on the back
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
Which I think that's always nice because that way, like, you're learning games, everybody can play the same, and then you can flip them over in future games to add
Yeah.
that little bit of extra depth and,
Mm-hmm.
and complexity.
Art's still good.
Yes. Assuming you like that art style, which I happen to. It's weird, but it's a good kind of weird.
It's more of that art style.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So, yeah, a little less than a week. So, if you want an interesting little worker placement game, go.
And especially with the Kickstarter, you're getting a lot of promo packs for free too. So
Yeah.
it's 5 different ones, so that's nice, including one which is basically just a 3D frame to hold all your money. So good stuff.
Yeah,
Indeed.
because you can get a lot of money in this game. I was watching a live stream and I was just like, holy shit, that dude has a lot of money in his corner. And if it's all metal coins, it's just sort of all like spilling everywhere.
Yeah.
So that seems like it's not the worst problem to have like, hey, here's so many metal coins in this game that you'll have problems keeping them all together.
Right.
So yeah, Architects of the West Kingdom.
1 to 5 players.
You only got about a week left on that one, so
Yep.
check it out.
Go check it out. Next up on Kickstarter.
Next up on Kickstarter is Vinyl. Not quite funded yet. 14,000 of its $25,000 goal. 230 backers, but this one's got about 3 weeks left to go, and you can pledge this one for about $38.
So this is kind of a set collection game that takes place at a record store. So you're going to have these magazine cards that give you some indication of the records you're looking for. And then you're going to go around to different spots on the board. And similar to Gallerist, there's like a kick out spot. So you go to an action, you do the main thing. And then when somebody else comes there, if they move you, if they come take that spot, you bump up to the...
Yep.
In this one, they call them like bump out actions.
Bump action.
But kick out actions in Gallerist. And you're going to be trying to acquire different albums that are in various parts of the store to complete sets. And so like there's like the pure set where you must match the same genre across all of them and one other attribute. Mixed set number 1, where you alternate genres but continue matching one attribute. and then the mix set 2, where you alternate genres but match 2 other attributes. I don't see anything on here that really goes over what the different symbols mean, but like one of the attributes is like a little green leaf. But some of them have like limited edition stamped on them and things like that.
Yeah, like a top 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess that, or 50s, 70s. It might be environmental or something like that.
The leaf is mint. It's a mint condition record.
So it's a mint. Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, the genres are pop, jazz, country, rock, and they have 50s, 60s, and 70s for the era. And then they can either be mint or limited edition. And you basically try and build sets similar to a game like Lanterns. Once you complete a set, you can claim the card matching that set. So like the pure sets are worth 25 points, mixed are worth 9, or mixed 1 is worth 9, mixed 2 is worth 12. And so you're just competing these sets, claiming those cards. And then after several turns, you see who has the most points and declare a winner.
Yeah, it seems pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And it has, the couple different pledge levels too. The standard one was the 38, like you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the one for 48, it just gives you 4 guitar minis.
Yep. And then any of the gold stretch goals.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which gives you like little record crates to keep your records that you've purchased, which look pretty cool.
Yeah, they do. And then the $350 one is a little more.
It's a couple more dollars than the $48 one.
Yeah. Right.
But only one left. 9 out of 10 people have bought that already.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Well, so yeah, if you're into record collection stuff, go check out Vinyl. Well, that wraps up all of our Kickstarter stuff. So we have some listener feedback stuff to get to. Starting off, we have an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email, like Steven did here, titled The Hater. Hi, guys. I've decided that one of the best parts of your podcast is listening to Jeff read the emails you receive from your buddy Andrew the Hater. I like that that's just his name now.
Yeah,
Andrew the Hater.
Yeah. I'm thinking about episode 85 in particular. I'm pretty sure that was the one with Andrew's lengthy disquisition.
Correct.
I didn't know that's a word. Disquisition on the Roman Empire in the late 2nd century. I doubt I could have done a better job than Jeff did pronouncing those names, except maybe Commodus.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop me from laughing at him either. I almost had to stop my car and pull over. Schadenfreude is the best kind of joy because it comes straight from the heart. Tell Andrew to keep those emails coming. I believe I have recently.
Yes.
Yeah. Finally, I loved your review of Ponzi Scheme. That game sounds great, and you guys did a fabulous job describing the game and your experience playing it. Ponzi schemes may not be very present in real life, but it sounds like they make an excellent theme for a board game. Until next time, Steve.
There's a lot of stuff like that where, like, war games, you're like, real life, not cool.
No.
But board games, cool. Nice.
Board games, cool.
Cool, yeah.
Cthulhu, rampaging beasts that destroy your sanity. In real life, not cool.
I mean,
in board games,
you know what?
Cool.
I can't discount that one until
you've experienced
until
it.
you've experienced it. I mean, because if I'm like the first one to go crazy, then I might be having a ball.
Fair enough.
It's gonna be great. Our second email comes from Ale. Ale? Have we decided on how this is spelled? Ale. It's definitely Ale.
Yes.
Because Adrian keeps calling it Ale, which is wrong.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Adrian, Zach, and Jeff. So I got an unexpected surprise as I got home from work today. A huge cardboard box was waiting on my doorstep. Excited squeal. It was a nice early birthday present. April. That's like my birthday. Holy heck, was the shipping more expensive than I anticipated. I was actually going to reply and get you guys to send it to my friends in ABBQ.
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. Is that a thing that people call that? All right. I'm sure they don't mind storing yet another board game again, and it probably would have saved us both a buck or two, but apparently USPS really ships shit quick, a phrase I'm sure you've never heard before.
Yeah, it took like a week to get it to Australia.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah.
When I was like shipping it.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, here's the shipping confirmation, expected delivery Wednesday. And I was like, what?
You know, that shit is like it boggles my mind a bit that you can be like, you can give someone a letter and be like, you know, here's 50 cents. Go take it to Australia or to fucking Alaska. There you go. Just go do it.
Yeah.
And like they're like, okay, it'll be there in a couple days. Like, what?
The mail is crazy,
Yeah.
man. The envelope full of cash was a nice touch, though. JK, I wish. Me too. It was just jammed full of cool goodies like business cards, stickers, vinyls, a sick promo for, of course, you guessed it, Lisboa, and the best thing in the entire box, which is the super cool Mile High Game Guys themed dice. Honestly, if you'd just shipped me a box full of those dice, I would have been in heaven.
That would have been a lot cheaper. We really should have just done
Right?
that.
Yeah. I'm sure we could get a lot of dice for what we spent on shipping.
Yeah.
Please do that next time. Need more MHGG dice. Insert picture of bathing in MHGG dice or diving in a la Scrooge McDuck.
Or it should be diving in a la Peter Griffin trying to be like Scrooge McDuck and then breaking bones.
Everything. Only Scrooge can dive in.
Yeah.
Thank you for the copy of the game. Appreciate everything you do, and also seconding Michael from the Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle Review episode. I have succumbed to the pressure of your constant mentions of Ponzi scheme and have also bought it recently. Let's hope it lives up to the hype.
It's multiple people.
Right?
Apparently we did a good job with
We
that
need to
one.
get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Be like, we've sold at least 2 copies.
At least I would say at least 3 or 4.
It's true.
Right. Because we did it for Kyle too. And
Yep.
Money, please.
Money, please.
P.S. Thanks for the business cards, though I notice they only have Adrian's name on them. Clearly, we know who the star of the show is.
So Zach and Jeff have their own business cards that even have their own titles. We all have
Yep.
unique titles.
Yes.
I just, when I was shipping it, didn't have any of theirs on hand, so I just threw in some of mine.
Yeah.
Because literally the only thing that's different is the name on the cards, and then I know mine have my personal phone number. So,
All 3 have different consistencies and finishes, sir.
Yes.
well, they are different styles of cards because we were experimenting to see which card we liked best.
Yep.
So we ordered 3 different types of
I
cards.
think mine's the thickest and glossiest.
Definitely
yes.
the glossiest. Mine has rounded corners.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's like a sort of combination of both of those.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mine's just sharp and glossy.
Yeah. Yeah. If that doesn't spell you to a T, Jeff.
Yes. And then he sends us some fantastic photos of him holding Lisboa and all of the crazy shit. And clearly the envelope that he wrote MHGG on, because Adrian said he didn't send it like that.
I don't think I did. I don't know. Maybe I did.
And then I love the picture
The
that
next
is
picture.
is just, well, there's one that's upside down because
Yeah.
he's in Australia.
Yeah. Upside down version. Yep.
And then there's one that's just blue.
Which it's the down under version, and it's just the same picture flipped.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the first one. Yeah.
Down under version. You said the upside down version.
Well,
It's the down under version that's upside down.
Got it. And then the blue one.
Well, because I didn't get it at first. I was like, why is one of these just upside down? You're like, because he's in Australia. It's like, oh,
Basically,
okay, I got it.
Yeah. It always takes you a couple more.
yeah. He was he was analyzing all the pictures. Of like, what could this mean?
Why is it upside down? Is
Yeah.
this some sort of message?
Yeah.
No, he's in fucking Australia.
Is this something about Stranger Things?
I understand that reference.
I don't.
I guess you know. Yeah.
I just know there's something called the Upside Down.
This is correct.
Fucking watch Stranger Things, Zach. Speaking of Netflix stuff.
Just get into World of Warcraft again, never leave your house, and have Netflix on your second monitor, and that's all you need.
I only have one monitor.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Get it
Because
together.
the other monitor is a full screen one that's like not even like 1080p. So it's an old one.
Yeah.
So
Well. We also, in addition to the emails, had a new comment over on our YouTube channel because holy shit, we have a YouTube channel. Granted, it's just the audio files of the podcast, but it's another way to listen to the podcast if you want to listen to the podcast.
we've had many what I think are views where people are like, oh, did they do stuff on YouTube? get like a minute or two in, they're like, oh no, it's just
podcast.
video.
just podcasts.
Not video.
But we did get a comment from the one person who actually uses the YouTube, Paulo.
Yes.
And he commented, "Great show, guys. This was on Dinosaur Island Review.
Mm-hmm.
Great show, guys. I played it once, and I wasn't overly impressed by it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, and I would play it again without a problem, but it's not something fantastic. The thing that seemed oddest to me was that the improvements to the parks were extremely expensive. Many of them are already expensive on their own, but adding the cost of the row makes it insane. Also, be careful, because when you say that we've got a fancy new website that destroys our RSSs, if you listen to it at 1.5 speed, it sounds like you say your new fancy website destroys your asses." Which
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
That was a particularly brutal few days for Zach there.
Yeah,
updating everything everywhere.
We got reamed for that. Also, quick note: I didn't realize that was Paulo that does the corrections for Rado.
Yes.
I did not realize that until I saw his comment on BGG, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's that guy."
Yes.
So yeah,
super nice guy. Had a bunch of fun playing games with him.
We're famous adjacent.
yes,
Correct.
Don't forget. Rado downloaded one of our episodes.
Did he?
Yes, he
How
did.
did we know this?
Because we saw one download from Malta, and he commented on. I remember
Because I think it was when
on
we covered his
Twitter.
Kickstarter. We talked about his like Kickstarter
Yes.
for the show or something.
yes,
Okay.
and then he mentioned in the Twitter or something, like he tweeted to us or something like that. So.
Okay.
And then he never listened again.
I mean, you know what? I get it. He's a busy guy.
It's a busy guy. He has to release an episode once a month.
Yeah. Hey, he won the fucking reward for it. So
He sure did.
guess who didn't? Us.
This
Not
is
even
we're
nominated.
one step closer
Yeah.
to default winning for Bandpass Podcast.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's our victory.
Yes.
We just have to survive long enough.
Which I will say, when you were talking earlier and you're like episode 85, it's like, oh fuck yeah, this is like episode 88. We've done so many episodes.
Yeah, and we switched at 50 to 2 a week. So they're really
I'm getting so
doubled up.
tired of you guys.
I mean, at some point we have to win by default just for sheer content. Like,
I told you we would win for most podcasts.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that are doing as many podcasts as we do?
not that I'm aware of. 2 a week? Forget about
that
it.
are each an hour and a half plus.
An hour and a half to 2 hours long? No, forget
No,
about
I
it.
told you we are most podcasts.
Content kings.
Yeah.
Content kings.
Yeah. Look, some people do quality over quantity. We do quantity. Someone's got to get. It's like,
Sometimes we'll stumble over quality.
yeah.
Oh,
Or the podcast equivalent of 1,000 monkeys typing on a typewriter.
every once in a while you get Shakespeare.
But
Mostly just gibberish.
mostly the typewriters are covered in shit.
That needs to be our like subtitle on our Mile High Game Guys. 1,000 monkeys podcasting.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyway, we have more listener feedback to get to before we get too far off the rails here over on BGG.
Yes, we do. All right, so this one, this is for the Harry Potter review that we did. This is from Matt. Matt says, did anyone suffer from the marketplace being locked up? We had 6 expensive items come out in year 7 early, and we just couldn't purchase anything. So we lost because we simply could not get any of the cards we needed to destroy the Horcrux. We have now made it a house rule that if nothing gets purchased in a round, then we sweep the entire market. Supermarket sweep.
Deep cut there.
Yeah, deep cut.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched those all the time during
Oh,
the
I did
spring
too.
break. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we did have that
Yeah,
come up in...
fuck off. We're talking about Supermarket Sweep.
No.
You
So we
didn't
did
ever-
have that come up. No, I'm staying on topic.
No, that's the worst part of this podcast.
We did have that come up a couple times, but it didn't come up like regularly enough for it to like be a major issue.
I think it caused us to lose one game, just like overall. It was
Yeah.
like one of the first games we played.
And so what we did the second time it happened is after 2 rounds went by where nobody could even afford to buy anything, we started implementing where if you couldn't afford to buy something, not if you didn't choose to, but if you couldn't actually afford to buy anything, you could choose one card to remove and it'd get replaced. So it wasn't quite a sweep everything because,
and
maybe,
it was a choice. Because
And it was a choice.
there are times where like, man, that's a really good card. I'll be able to buy it on my turn. But it's just like, or especially if there are like versions of the same card, which I mean, you could also do like it is in
the one variant for Machikoro,
where you stack
the same thing.
So it's always 6 unique items. I could see that too, but
Yeah.
But then you'd have that same item there for like ever.
yeah,
Right.
well, no one would buy it, so it'd be there anyway.
True. So that can be a problem. I do wish more games had a way to move the market along, because any deck builder that has that kind of trench thing, if it gets full of expensive things early, then it can really slow things down.
Alien, Predator, Ascension, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It can be,
Even Star Realms, Hero Realms can have that,
Yeah.
The one thing Harry Potter doesn't have that a lot of those games do is the cheap, like always available
on the
support
side,
card.
yes. Yeah.
If Harry Potter had something like that, like a very basic spell, like his Expelliarmus, which they just use all the time in the show, if they had that as like a 2-cost spell, or even a 3-cost spell that's just always available.
But
that
most
really
of those come with a cull mechanic attached to the card, which doesn't exist in Harry Potter.
True.
Yes.
So
both of those combined make it not great. Not great for that.
Yeah.
No, it's not the best deck builder out there.
All right.
Next BGG comment.
This is for Dinosaur Island, I reviewed last week. This is from Stefan. Stefan says, a couple of comments and questions. I personally love the theme and art, but I'm not really sure if I want to drop 100 to 170 on the Kickstarter. After your review, I would love for you to add cost as a factor.
Like if we think the game's worth the cost.
Yeah.
You looked confused.
No, I was trying to think if we mentioned it at all, but I don't think we did.
Did we have availability on? Did we do
Yes, we
availability?
did, because I made a joke that you could spend like $150 on Amazon,
that's right.
or just spend $150 on the Kickstarter and get all the cool shit with it.
Yeah.
I know it makes for a more complex Kickstarter, but I wish we could get the base game without the metal coins as an option. Metal coins are awesome, but I would much rather just have the Dino meeples and save $20 to $30.
That's an understandable
Yeah.
want, but I think the more complex Kickstarter.
Exactly. Yeah. It was that problem that Heroes of Land, Sea, and Air had.
Like too many options. Too many levels.
Too many options. Like people are like, because a lot of the Kickstarter demos were with standees, and so it was like you got used to those, and it's like, oh, you could have minis. It's like, yeah, but those are expensive. I just like the standees, and then not enough people did it, and
they're like, fuck it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Just sell your coins to somebody who has a retail version that doesn't have the coins, who wants the coins.
Yeah. Or if you just like really hate somebody, buy them, and then you can
put them in a sock.
You can end them. So
put them in a sock and just fucking whip it.
Yeah. Speaking of the Kickstarter, it really annoys me when companies add fake stretch goals. I know it's a good tool to garner more excitement, but it's already going to be in the game. Please just put it in. Dinosaur Island and many others seem to be a culprit on this. Yeah, no, I get what he's saying. Because it's always like, hey, we have, Simon loves to do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have all these, everything comes with the cardboard stuff, but let's just, now we got all those plastic things, and we're gonna upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
I get what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've even seen Kickstarters where they're like right at the end when it's closing, like, oh, we didn't quite reach the final stretch goal, but since you guys were all so great and this was such a great campaign, we're gonna give it to you anyway.
Yeah.
Which really means to me that they were planning on doing that all along, and
they want to make more money.
Yep.
So,
which I do relate to that.
Yes,
we all want to make
sense.
more money.
It has objectively been proven that stretch goals help you make more money.
Yes.
Yeah. I like money.
Yeah, I know, right? I would also love to hear more thoughts on Dinogenics.
I didn't play Dinogenics.
No, but
all y'all have.
We are going to be getting a review copy from them when they get their production copies made. And so we will be doing a full review of it.
And we will definitely mention how we think it compares with Dinosaur Island.
Yep. Just to real quick touch on Dinogenics, like I think that I can honestly say I think that they are different enough.
Yes.
That you won't be upset for having one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But I could also see where one or the other might appeal more to you depending on what type of worker placement you like. Because they are both worker placement islands about running a dinosaur park.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Dinogenics has a little bit more of the player interaction because more of the worker placement's in a common board. I also like a little bit more of like how they handle dinosaur rampages and things in Dinogenics versus Dinosaur Island, where they like actually can eat other things and cause different damage.
Instead of
eat other dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, pulling meeples off.
But I like how this one did variable. So it's, you could be like, oh, we have like there's, it's not just always this amount.
Yeah.
So,
I I like the DNA better in Dinosaur Island too.
Yes,
the way they
100%.
handle DNA.
Yeah.
So they're different. There's pluses and minuses.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we'll be getting our Dinogenics copy fairly soon and get that review out there.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Side question: how do you guys feel about sharing games? What are your limitations on it? Do you have to know the person well? Does it depend on the game or its cost? A lot of other podcasters have been talking about this topic, and I found it interesting.
I usually don't have any problem loaning most anyone a game.
I definitely like need to at least kind of know them. Like
Mhm.
somebody who I've never met before
Oh,
game night.
yeah.
If they're like, "Ooh, can I borrow Food Chain Magnate?" Be like,
Yep.
No.
I don't know you, and that's a expensive, hard to find game.
Right? Yeah.
But like if I know, like if you're somebody I've seen regularly at game night, like I
Mhm.
trust that you'll be back around and you want to borrow like Coup
Yeah.
or Forbidden Desert, something that's easy to find, easy to replace if the worst happens,
Mhm.
then heck yeah, borrow it away. I don't
Gotcha.
care.
No.
It's just taking up space on my shelf right now. Go ahead, play the crap out of it.
Yeah. No, I don't ever let anybody borrow my games.
I remember lending out my Terraforming Mars quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially when it was the only copy.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would lend out like more expensive and nicer games to people I knew and trusted.
Mhm.
Like if I had a heavy Euro that Paul didn't have, and
Mhm.
Paul wanted to play it with somebody who wasn't me.
Yes.
I don't know who he'd play it with.
Right.
But I'd be happy to lend it to like Paul, or like if you guys wanted to borrow something, I'd
Right.
be happy to lend
No.
any of my games to you guys.
Just so we could burn it.
But no, yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Right.
All right, so
you
I take
can't
it back.
have-
I won't ever lend you
There you go.
guys
There you go.
like 18XX or heavy Euros.
Correct.
Correct.
It's a trap.
No, yes,
no,
I'll
I'll
just immediately
I'll
be
just-
suspicious.
Yeah. I'll just give you fake money and be like, it's worth this much, right?
Just put it in your copy of 18XX so you actually have the components for money. Now.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Yeah. So once
off.
again, I never let anybody borrow my games. I have to call out Zach and say thanks for letting me borrow his copy of Tiny Epic Quest.
You liar.
It was a while back, and I know you had only seen me a couple times at game night. Other than that, our interactions were minimal. I thought it was super cool of you to lend out your game to a stranger and just waited to thank you again for your trust. Can I borrow Dinosaur Island now? He used an emoji, so I don't.
Yeah.
Zach hates, and it's a winky emoji.
Oh, it's animated.
Oh God.
Zach hates emojis. So anybody on the Slack channel,
Uh-huh.
just DM Zach with emojis.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He'll
and
love it.
Yeah,
That'd
and
be
then
great.
I'll just kick you out of.
He doesn't have that authority.
I think he does.
I will hack Adrian's account, kick Adrian out, and then I will give myself sole
Yes.
authority.
Perfect.
I'm enjoying the podcast. Keep up the good work. Wish I could make it back to more game nights, but I sadly work Wednesday nights at Crit Castle. It's a great store and right by my house. But the board game selection could use some work, and our customer service could definitely improve. But I'm trying. It'd be nice if I could get a regular board game night there. But everyone wants to play at breweries.
Sad face.
Sad face. It's his blue because he's feeling blue.
Mhm.
Thanks for explaining that, Zach.
Got it.
All right. So Matt says, just listened and you guys nailed it just listened and you guys nailed it with the colors and my grunge comment. I was in high school in the mid 90s and in Indiana. So grunge was all the rage while I was stuck in my 80s Def Leppard phase, minus the mullet. I like to keep my hair short.
Which I'm surprised that all of Indiana wasn't still stuck in the 80s during the 90s grunge phase.
Yeah.
All kinds of different
Questions,
styles
comments, concerns.
in the 90s. Saved by the Bell, grunge.
Goth was hitting it in the late 90s.
Goth was hitting it in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different things.
But like Hot Topic goth.
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
Hot
definitely.
Topic's way different now.
Yeah, it is.
When that's when the original like emo-y vampire stuff, all the Interview with the Vampire Lestat stuff from Anne Rice. I almost said Anne Rand. Completely different kind
That
of
would
thing.
be a very different movie.
Anne Rice, all of her stuff that was basically Twilight before Twilight was cool and much better written, but still very emo-y, romantic vampires saving people from their dull human lives. But
All right.
right on. So yeah, if you want to get a hold of us like all of those awesome people did, you can email us.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on BGG, where we have a guild number 2731. We're on Facebook and Instagram /Mile High Game Guys. We're all on Twitter. I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach _MHGG.
I am Jeff _MHGG.
And we are also now on YouTube, so you can go over there and like, comment, subscribe at youtube.com/Mile High Game Guys.
Maybe we'll have video on there sometime. I don't know.
At some point. That's the goal.
God.
And if you are enjoying all of the great content that we're putting out and you want to support the show, you can jump over to Patreon, patreon.com/Mile High Game Guys, and support us over there, like Andrew B just did, for $5. So he avoids the Jeff trash talk of doom for $1 pledges.
And he gets to tell me to fuck off for $5.
Yeah. So Andrew, feel free to at any point in time. Easiest would be on Slack, but any other, Twitter, whatever.
So
Just tell Jeff, fuck off.
If at any point someone just walks, like, is driving by, fuck off, Jeff. like,
I'd be like, I hope that guy gave me $5.
yeah.
Or that guy owes me $5.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you very much, Andrew, for
Yes, thank
pledging
you
to
very
support the
much.
show. We
Yes.
do really appreciate it, as well as everybody else who supports the show through Patreon.
When all my friends tell me to fuck off, do they owe me $5 now?
It's the friends discount.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
$5 friend discount.
Yep.
And I'll just pretend all of you are $1 pieces of shit.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Like you don't already.
Yep. Right on. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on Friday, where we will be reviewing 3 different set collection games and kind of comparing and contrasting them.
2-player.
2-player set collection
Yes.
games. Yes, this is a 2-player
As in,
specific episode.
not games that have 2 players, like in their option. 2-player specific games.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And then we'll be back next week with some more awesomeness. So until then, as always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And the Phoenix owns the first 30 minutes of our episode. Jeff.
Bye.
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 Which, if you appreciate the content that we do put out and you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Mile High Game Guys. You can also...
Didn't we have a new one?
Yes.
I thought that's your real
I totally did too. I was like, and now he's skipping it. All right.
Now you know how I
I
felt.
had it pulled up, and then I lost it.
Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.